Welcome to College Football Now by Chat Sports. I am Will Scott, getting you guys an updated Nebraska coaches hot board. They have had that vacancy now for a couple of weeks, but now you're starting to see more names linked to the Nebraska job. That includes former Carolina Panthers coach Matt Rhule, who has recently been fired. So this is the first Nebraska hot board we're getting you with Rhule available. Before we get into that top 10 list, though, with those 10 names, I do want to ask you all, will Nebraska make a bowl game this season? It's wild because the Big Ten West is so bad that Nebraska has a legit chance to, maybe contend in that division. That'd be wild. Will they make a bowl game? Type Y for yes or type N for no down in the comments section. I think the college football Twitter world would burn to the ground if they're in the Big Ten championship game. Let's start with Bo Pelini here. He's number 10 on our list, was number 10 on our last list as well. We have to link him to the job because he's had the most success out of any recent Nebraska coaches. After that 9-win season, they fired him, and Nebraska has been really, really bad since. So Bo Pelini, perhaps maybe you give him a call, just gauge his interest. But when you look at what Bo Pelini's done recently, he was the head coach at Youngstown State, had a little bit of success there. He was a disaster as the LSU defensive coordinator. Chris Kleiman, head coach of Kansas State, we're going to put him on this list. He's had some success with Kansas State, won the Texas Bowl last year with Skylar Thompson, and I got to be honest, after losing Skylar Thompson, I didn't know how much success they were going to have this year, but they're in the top 25. They beat Oklahoma, and after that Oklahoma win, I feel like that gave them the momentum they needed after the Tulane loss. So Kleiman's a heck of a coach, and he had some success, obviously, winning a couple natties at North Dakota State. I really like Chris Kleiman. If I was the Nebraska AD, he'd actually be higher than 9 on my list. But we have him at 9 just because he hasn't been linked as much as some other guys. Mickey Joseph coming in at number 8. He has done a solid job here as the interim head coach. 2-1 thus far, has Nebraska toward the top of the Big Ten West right now. But then again, there's a lot of teams that have a chance to win that division. But it seems like the team has really bought into him. After that Oklahoma loss, I wanted to see what he could do in terms of responding from adversity. They've certainly done that, winning 2 straight. So Mickey Joseph, certainly a name to watch here. Maybe he will get the interim tag taken off. Who do you think Nebraska should hire? Is it Mickey Joseph? Is it Chris Kleiman? Is it Bo Pelini? What is that Bo Pelini Twitter account, Coop? Fox Pelini? That'd be. Oh my gosh, can you imagine that Twitter account of Bo Pelini got hired? Let me know. Who should Nebraska hire to be their head coach? Maybe they should hire Jim Leonhard, the interim head coach and defensive coordinator at Wisconsin. And he won his debut at Wisconsin, interim head coaching debut, 42-7 last week over Northwestern. And a lot of people in Madison believe Jim Leonhard's going to be the guy. He's a legend at Wisconsin, was a great player for them back in the day. A lot of people think he's going to be the guy, and I'm one of those people. I think Jim Leonhard is going to get hired at Wisconsin. But if he has some success and Wisconsin decides to go another direction, he should be toward the top of a lot of other lists. That includes Nebraska. Matt Campbell always going to be at the top of these coaching hot boards. We have him here at number 6, a little bit lower than our last hot board. Iowa State has not had any crazy success this season, but Matt Campbell, a heck of a coach, has done a great job over there in Ames. He would be a great hire for Nebraska or maybe some other schools that have some coaching vacancies. Speaking of great, this is a great shirt. Go and pick it up if you are a real one. And if you're a supporter of Chat Sports, a subscriber, not just to this main channel, but any of our Chat Sports channels, you're a real one. We appreciate you. Go pick up your real one shirt today, on sale for limited time. Chatsports.com/RealOne. We have them available in multiple colors, including this purple one right here, and that red one, Nebraska color, if you're a Nebraska fan watching. Chatsports.com/RealOne. Go pick up your Real One t-shirt today. That link is in the comments and the description of this video. Dave Aranda getting into our top 5. He is number 5, the head coach at Baylor. And producer Jeff Cooperstein and I were talking before the show. I don't really know if Nebraska is that much better of a job over Baylor right now, and I understand the Big 12 has a lot of question marks going forward, but I feel like they've done a decent job kind of keeping some other schools together. That includes Baylor. So with Texas and OU leaving, Baylor's going to be probably the favorite to win that conference, at least one of the favorites year in, year out. And when I'm looking at Dave Aranda's thinking here, I mean, he had an opportunity potentially to go back to LSU last year. He was not interested in that job after he was the defense coordinator on that national championship team. He decided to stay at Baylor. Baylor's a really good fit for him. I feel like Baylor's a really solid job. I don't see him leaving for Nebraska, but he's going to be linked here in Nebraska as the season goes on. Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator at Georgia. He is a hot commodity. He's going to be at least a hot commodity here in terms of the coaching vacancies that we've seen. Really, when you have a coordinator at a contending SEC school like Georgia or Alabama or LSU, they're always going to be in the conversation when talking about some of these head coaching vacancies. Who do you think is a better fit for Nebraska? Type A for Dave Aranda or type N for Todd Monken down in the comment section. Aranda, the head coach at Baylor, Monken, the offensive coordinator at Georgia. I feel like Monken might be a little bit more likely, but I feel like Monken might want to stay in the SEC when a head coaching opportunity comes up. I don't know if he's going to be as patient as Kirby Smart was, but maybe he'll stay patient here. Bill O'Brien, number 3 on our list. And if Nebraska hires Bill O'Brien, I feel like Cornhuskers fans might be in shambles. Bill O'Brien is one of those coordinators that is linked to these jobs, and the school he's currently at is rooting for him to get hired by another school. I grew up a Houston Texans fan, so Bill O'Brien certainly would not be at the top of my list. However, he's been linked to the job. Nebraska might decide to interview him. We'll have to wait and see. I definitely think Nebraska, though, should go after Lance Leipold, the head coach of Kansas. In my opinion, hands down, the coach of the year. If Kansas can continue their success, they're 5-1 right now. Very close loss to TCU last week without their starting quarterback. So Lance Leipold, man, is a miracle worker. Everywhere he's gone, Wisconsin, Whitewater, Buffalo, Kansas, he's turned around that program, has had a lot of success. This might be a hot take, Coop. I think he's a top 5 coach in the country. I really do. I know that's hard to say that after just 2 seasons in the Power 5, but Lance Leipold, man, is a great coach. And if I'm Kansas, I am giving this guy so much money, avoiding a potential departure from Lawrence. But Nebraska is a really good job, probably a better job. It definitely is a better job than Kansas is, at least right now. But I would stay at Kansas if I was Leipold. He's building something special there. But number 1 on our list is Matt Rhule, the former head coach of the Panthers. This is the first time on a Chat Sports Hot Board that we can say the former head coach of the Carolina Panthers, and he did not have that much success with Carolina. 11-27 there in 2+ seasons with Carolina. With Temple, he had some success there, 28-23. Some early struggles, but turned around that Al's program by the time it was all said and done. Then goes to Baylor. Right after that Art Briles mess and turns around that Baylor program, goes 19-20 with 3 seasons with the Bears. That last season, though, 2019, was a 10+ win season, a really special season with Baylor. So it really proves to me that Matt Rhule is just a college coach. I mean, let's be honest, there hasn't been a whole lot of college coaches that have gone to the NFL and had a lot of success. So Matt Rhule, one of those guys, he's definitely going to be at the top of a lot of head coaching hot boards, Nebraska being one of those vacancies at this point. Let's revisit our top 10. Number 10, we have former Nebraska coach Bo Pelini. Number 9, Chris Kleiman, the head coach at Kansas State. Number 8, Mickey Joseph, the interim head coach at Nebraska. He's done a solid job. The interim head coach / DC at Wisconsin, Jim Leonard. Number 6, Matt Campbell, the head coach of the Iowa State Cyclones. Number 5, Dave Aranda, head coach of the Baylor Bears. Number 4, Todd Monken, the OC of Georgia. Number 3, Bill O'Brien, former Texans head coach in the OC at Alabama. Number 2, Lance Leipold, the head coach of Kansas. And the number 1, Matt Rhule, the former head coach of the Panthers, former head coach of Baylor and Temple as well. I think Matt Rhule's going to get this Nebraska job. I do. I think it makes a lot of sense for both sides potentially. Go down, subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Whenever there is a big vacancy in college football, and let me tell you something, it might be Auburn after this weekend. We always get you guys a hot board. You know how we roll. We know how we roll here at Chat Sports. Go down, hit that big red subscribe button.